So often when we meet new people, especially here in America, we'll usually ask them like, "What do you do?" As if that somehow will tell us what kind of person they are. I don't know. It's just like a habit. But a lot of us actually create identities based off of the labels that we're given or the roles that we play or the way that we're seen in the world or how we show up. And these labels are like this quantifiable structure for human cognitive understanding, but they're often really limiting to who we actually are as a whole being. Even though we say, for example, like, I'm a mother, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, whatever, we're putting ourselves in these like neat little boxes with a bow tie on top. But when we identify with the role or the career and it becomes then who we are, then let's say we suddenly lose that role, then there's this feeling of becoming lost, discombobulated, unknown. And I know with AI coming up as fast as it is, there are a lot of people who are genuinely concerned, that it'll take their jobs. And yeah, some of that fear is, financial pressure, like thoughts about that, survival. And then a little bit of it also is that a lot of these people really identify with their careers, or their jobs or whatever. And then all of a sudden they don't have it. So then what? So this week I'm pulling on the thread of what happens when you lose the label or, how you were seen in the world, and share with you like my discovery through my lens. And everybody's different. This is just my angle of the dangle. And yeah, so let's spiral into the void a little bit. And I'll start off by saying that over the weekend, I had this dream. It was really vivid, and it sort of forced me to look backwards. And I'm not usually like past driven. Like I don't think about the past much unless it comes up, in a healing session or something. But yeah, this one I was DJing, and that was actually something that I did for quite a while, actually, after I got finished with my tattoo apprenticeship. And so I really loved it. So when I woke up from this dream, I felt this like wave of sadness, and I initially thought, whoa, am I like missing DJing? Like, what's going on here? I definitely felt loss, and it felt like it was more so tied to the feeling of being unknown, being a no one. I guess looking back on everything that I've done, I just didn't realize how much my identity was actually tied into being seen. It's as if my identity was created around what I do rather than who I actually am. So being externally focused meant I still needed some kind of external validation to some degree. Like, this is me, hi, this is who you are. And my dream was basically saying, okay, you need to look at this. Roger that. But I caught on quickly that becoming unknown was actually bringing down the external world's reflection that my old identity actually needed to hold itself together. Like, who am I, my values, my worth, all that stuff. And the external validation was essentially then the glue, in a way. And it was intimately woven into performance in so many ways, whether it was the stage or making permanent art, however it showed up. This was how I was defining myself. And a lot of that programming, of course, comes from childhood. And it's perpetuated by life circumstances and experiences. And at one point, it might have kept us safe. So when I sat with this, I actually realized that what I was really feeling was this intense feeling of failure, and lack of safety too. And it kind of makes sense because it's sort of like the guardrails came off of this, or like the self-imposed prison bars were removed, because that's what it is. Yeah. It's kind of like this behavioral study where they put bees into a container and then they put a clear dividing wall between them and then they left it there for a long while. And then at one point they took the wall away, but the bees still remained separated from each other on each of their sides, even though the wall wasn't there. So, yeah, that's sort of what it feels like, right? The guardrails are off, and I'm like, oh, but I'm still this person, but I'm really not, you know, and I'm still playing by the old person's rules. And it just felt a little discombobulating, you know, like what's going on? So when I started doing my internal work, a lot of my external world actually fell apart really quickly. Everything. And I don't, naturally, I wanted to change up like how I was doing things in that process, right? Because I was still tattooing and all that stuff. But it's really hard to create a new structure when you're still in the old identity. Actually, it was really difficult. Because the outside world is still reflecting back to me, the old me, you know, and I was contained within all of these labels still, like, you know, tattooer, DJ, you know, tattooed lady, I don't know, whatever, right? And I'm not shaming or blaming anything or anyone or any aspect of myself in this. This is just what it was. You know, in fact, you know, like I mentioned before, like I really come to understand that the old identity was important and actually necessary at some point, you know, to be able to be the container for me to like grow in while I was holding all of my old wounds, you know, so that I could show up for work and do my job. You know, but as I was sitting with the revelation of my dream, I had this realization that being unknown or like being no one is literally like being at the center point of creation in void space. Like if you can think of that, it's like the beginning of all creation, the darkness, the void. You don't cease to exist, but you are in fact formless in a way, your awareness, consciousness. And then you're recreating yourself or maybe revealing your true self in a space of limitless possibilities and potentials, where everything and no thing exists all at the same time. And so with that, in a sense, we would need to be in this no thing space in order to create. You know, and this would require the old structures to fall down and all the masks to be taken off, you know, and to really start asking the questions like, who am I really, you know? So I realized that by removing any need to perform or to prove through performance or needing the external world to like reflect who I am, you know, or base my worth on my output, all of the pressure then is off. It's gone. So what I was learning is that being unknown is not failure, it's restructuring. And this was about letting go of being externally defined and becoming the source of your own definition. It's sort of like removing the mirror of the external. And so now only you can reflect back to yourself. And, you know, when you create the structure of this self-sourced reflection and you let that be the container, you know, like the thing that actually holds you, there is not only this unwavering stability of the self, but also there's a sense of deep safety within. Sovereignty. It gives you the freedom to be able to like evolve and expand within your expression without limitations, boxes, or labels. You know, being no one or unknown, you get to undefinably and authentically be you. And I was reminded too that we are not what we create. What we create is an expression of who we are. So thank you so much for being here and for listening to my story as usual. This one was definitely a little bit trickier. Like, I feel like I'm doing my shadow work as I'm putting these pieces together, because it started this week, so all the pieces were coming in like every day, so it was just one after another. So it's been a healing process for me in a way. It's almost like creating artwork, because when I'd paint, I'd feel the same way. I would get revelations and everything, but this is a little different. So very, very interesting. And yeah, thank you so much for holding space. Then also, like, let me know too in the comments, if nothing was required of you, let's say your job was gone, what would naturally want to express through you? Until next time.